Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Monday morning. Last week of July 2019. Time is going by very, very fast. You can go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Hold on a second, got distracted. Have not done this on YouTube that often. Am I still on? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, share screen. Okay, like I said, there's 4 rules I live by to have success in the crypto space. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. That's number 2. Always get your return on investment as fast as possible. Number 3. And where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Make a decision, take action, stay focused, do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So good morning, everybody. This is, unfortunately, Facebook has not allowed me to connect my Zoom onto Facebook to do a Facebook Live now for about a week. And I haven't done a crypto talk in a couple of days now. So I got to do it on YouTube. So we'll see if it allows me to do it again, if I do it later on this evening on Facebook. But always, if you are looking to see if I am live and you have not got a notification, you can always check my Facebook page. Because even if I do it on YouTube, I post it on Facebook. So you can still access it. So either way, Facebook, YouTube is still up. And I do it around the same times every day. My summer schedule has been 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. School's about to start again. We're coming into August, and that changes to 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time because, you know, my little kid's going back to school. I got to take them to school. So, all right, so let's see what has taken place over the last couple of days. Now, even though I haven't done a crypto talk, I have been watching the charts. And Bitcoin, or the entire crypto market cap, has dropped to $265 billion. It is up 0.54% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance, 64.3%. That is down a little bit. Ethereum's still at 8.46, Ripple still at 5%. Bitcoin is at $9,537. That is down almost 10% over the last 7 days. In fact, you look at all of the coins over the last 7 days, they're all down. Bitcoin and Litecoin are close to double digit. Binance Coin as well. Bitcoin SV is down almost over 17%. Tron 24%. So it's been a a bumpy ride over the last week in the crypto market. But look at OKB has been up 21% over the last 7 days. So you got oddballs like that. Let's see the last 24 hours. Best performer is a coin called Unlimited IP or LP. That is up 101.9%. That's a pump and dump. I see it already down 15% over the last hour. Lambda is up 28%. That's an odd one to go up that high. Qcoin shares. Of course, someone's trying to call me. Nope, can't tell you. Let's see. Any top coin? Stellar. Stellar at least is up 3.3%. BitShares Cardano's up 3.1%. All right, worst performers. REN, Metaverse, Dash is down 4.5%. Interesting about Dash, Dash used to be a top 10 coin at one point, and they've been sliding. Icon, Monero down 2.5%. Zcash, Tron. All right, so in the last hour, it's been pretty much flat line. Not that much really going on right now. And you're right, Hennessy has been no alt season. In fact, I said this the other day. This has not been a bull run this year. It has been a flash Bitcoin bull run. I've got 3 criteria for a crypto bull run. Market cap's got to be over 300 billion. Bitcoin dominance needs to be below 50%. And Bitcoin price needs to be over $10,000 a coin. And then you'll start to see signs of a crypto bull run like at the end of 2017. When those, and that's my opinion. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. So let's take a look at some news. Craig Wright is back in the news. Let's see as to why. Craig Wright explains why you, meaning all of us, won't admit he created Bitcoin. Really, Craig? Why is it that I won't admit? Is it because you just, a scammer? Is it because you're a phony? Why won't we admit it? Craig Wright has a theory about why almost nobody will capitulate to his demands to be worshipped as Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Standing on the wrong end of a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, he believes that his persona has led to attacks on him personally, as opposed to the ideas he has presented to the blockchain space. Really? It has nothing to do with the fact that you try to sue anybody that says anything negative against you? That if you are really Satoshi Nakamoto, you can prove it in 2 minutes, 2 seconds if you wanted to? Wright says core believers dismissed his person, not his ideas. Wright and others are firm believers in on-chain scaling. Wright proposes a more extreme version than most, with 2 GB blocks already activated on the mostly vacant network. Bitcoin Cash is not necessarily opposed to larger blocks, nor are they opposed to looking at other scaling solutions when the time comes. Both projects view the reluctance of Bitcoin to simply raise its block size as a failure of governance and technology. In any case, Wright believes that his detractors employ specific fallacies in their hatred of him. He believes that for the most part, people take issue with him and transfer that issue onto what he views as his legitimate claim to be Satoshi Nakamoto. No. The issue, I can only speak for myself, the issue I have is that the biggest threat to Bitcoin has not been governments, it has not been the banks, it has not been, the negative clowns out there, it has not been any CEOs. It has been Craig Wright himself. Why? Well, it is true. He was there in the beginning days. It is true. He does have technical skills necessary to could have become the Satoshi Nakamoto. It is true. He is a very intelligent man. It is true he has a lot of money and resources at his disposal. It is also true that he's been proven to plagiarize, steal other projects and call it his own, steal other white papers, hijack other projects, backstab other individuals. Not only that, he's the reason why Bitcoin forked in the first place to Bitcoin Cash, which caused the market to do something funny. It didn't hurt it too much because that was around September 2017. But a month and a half later, since he didn't like the fact that Bitcoin Cash didn't take off like he thought it would, he played a game with all the miners, pulled them off of mining Bitcoin, caused the entire network to slow down, backed up transactions, over 200,000 transactions backed up, where it took more than 24 hours just to confirm if you bought or sold Bitcoin or traded it, and forced the fees up 100-fold. Yeah, that was Craig Wright who did that. That was right before the Bitcoin jumped up to 20,000 a coin. And then a year later, he forked into Bitcoin SV from Bitcoin Cash, which caused the market to drop from $6,000 a coin all the way down to $3,000 a coin because he wanted to bleed dry the Bitcoin ABC, which is the Bitcoin Cash people, and was trying to force Bitcoin price down to $1,500 a coin. Yeah, that impacted all of us. 3 times he has had a major impact on the development and the progress of Bitcoin. And now it doesn't help him running around claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, making it all about him and not the actual project. Now, I'm only speaking for myself. Some of you out there may actually say, yeah, he is Satoshi Nakamoto. You're wrong, Brandon. Hey, believe whatever you want. But let's see, what did he say specifically here now? In one specific case, it comes down to arguments about the people. Bitcoin is technology. The other side of the argument is failing when it has moved to attacking a person rather than the argument itself. Stop right there. Stop right there. This is what's called projection. What does that mean? That means when something you do and then you project onto somebody else as if they're the issue. You see this all the time in society. God, man, I want to go politics, but I can't. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna say projection. You project onto others what it is that you actually do yourself. So, as far as Craig Wright's concerned, he's been attacking the project. He says Bitcoin is not today is not what his original intent was. That Bitcoin is supposed to work within the rules of the law and authority. That's completely opposite of what the white paper was saying. The white paper, if you have not read the Bitcoin white paper, please do so and read it several times. I even recorded myself reading it. You can look it up on YouTube if you don't like to read. But the entire paper is about a revolution. It is about creating a brand new system where power is in the hands of the people, not the governments, not the banks, where it is completely based on math and independent on an individual who may decide to, do things for their own gain, like how fiat money is done, just printing out money out of thin air. And now Craig Wright's saying it's the complete opposite, that what Bitcoin is. So he has been attacking the system. But now he's saying we're attacking him instead. instead of just looking at the that's my also problem. If he really is Satoshi Nakamoto, and if the real Satoshi Nakamoto out there is still alive, I hope they never come forward. We do not need to know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. That will not benefit the crypto movement. It will actually hurt it, because then it will become about the individual, their politics, their personal beliefs, instead of just the purity of the open source. I hope that made sense. It's like, that old saying, you never want to meet your heroes, because they're human, they have their own personal flaws to them. Kind of like that here. So he says, proof of social media is not about truth, but rather about a deception that can change and mutate over time. It is one of the aspects of Bitcoin that have been developed that allows for a system of truth. If you view my videos and presentations from 2014, you will see that I have the same outlook and concept of Bitcoin. No, you don't. The attack comes down to the individual. You end with diatribes of YouTube videos, gut feelings, and the general ranting of social justice warriors. He's the first one to attack everybody else out there and sue anybody out there. I know. That's right. Imagine Satoshi Nakamoto had a sexual assault. Bitcoin tanks 50%. That's right. It becomes about the individual, not the person, not the movement, not the project. So he says, in many ways, it is designed to take you away from the issue at hand. The fallacy can be used in creating a red herring. The genetic fallacy is commonly presented in a continued argument as a matter of creating misdirection. It allows the arguer to slip in a red herring in an irrelevant conclusion or relevant thesis. For example, they avoid refuting the point being argued and cloud the issue. That's exactly what you're doing right now. The man, the myth, the Satoshi Nakamoto claim. Wright's often abrasive personality conflicts with the person we know as Satoshi Nakamoto, and he's repeatedly backtracked or altered ideas presented by Satoshi himself. Cryptographic proof does not yet exist of Wright's claims. That's 100% true. Nevertheless, as a journalist, it's this reporter's job to remain neutral on the subject. If Wright or anyone proves their identity as Satoshi Nakamoto, it's our job to report the news, not interpret it. Who's blowing me up here? Satoshi Nakamoto's calling me? No. No, Satoshi Nakamoto's not calling me. The claim isn't just a trivial question. It's a history-altering assertion. It puts you among the world's wealthiest people, and your Bitcoin holdings would quickly make you one of the most influential people in crypto. If you were Craig Wright, for example, and you dumped your massive Bitcoin hoard in favor of Bitcoin SV, it could potentially move all the volume to your fork. Would such a move be a securities violation? If this was regulated, yes, it would. It's other words like insider trading, doing something like that. Someone asked me, why would this guy do what he's doing? One reason, money. Maybe ego as well, but money. $10 billion is on the line as of today. We're talking about 5 to 10 years from now. We're talking about a hoard that could be worth more than $500 billion. $500 billion within the next 10 years. So yeah, that's why he's doing what he's doing. And it would be even more if he's successful to tricking the miners and the community to believe that the real Bitcoin is actually Bitcoin SV, not the original Bitcoin. And then all hash power and everything moves to Bitcoin SV. He'll become one of the richest people on the planet. So if Satoshi Nakamoto becomes a known quantity, can Bitcoin thus be considered a security? These questions will arise if proof of rights claims is ever presented. Until such a time, we can only speak hypothetically. Well, I don't need to speak hypothetically. I'll just come right out and say it. He ain't Satoshi Nakamoto. Right? He is not Satoshi Nakamoto. All right. Get into some IRS tax stuff. Well, is that what this one's about? The U.S. Treasury Secretary made a dire warning over the future of Bitcoin. Okay, not IRS tax stuff. U.S. Treasury Secretary. Oh, so we definitely need to pay close attention to this. Ever since Donald Trump came out and blasted Bitcoin and crypto and the Libra, those who work for him need to follow suit to make whatever Donald Trump says a reality. No matter if it's true or not. I am going to speak factually and not politically for a second here, as to not offend anybody, just factually. No man is perfect. No man is 100% right all the time. No president is perfect or 100% right all the time, although some of them believe that they always are. Donald Trump believes he is right 100% all of the time. Whether you support him or do not, I think you can agree to that based on his actions. Donald Trump will never apologize for anything that he says or does, even if proven wrong. Do you remember the Central Park Five? That Donald Trump put out an article in the newspaper to have those 5 kids executed, and it was proven that they were innocent. Did Donald Trump ever backtrack on that and apologize for that? No. There's only one time that I'm aware of that Donald Trump backed off something that was big. And it was the whole birther issue against Obama, where he came out publicly and said Barack Obama was born in the United States. Period. He said it. That's the only time I know of. Everything else that he says, he doubles down on it, even when proven that it's not factually correct. He'll double down on it. And as such, his supporters and the people who work for him now need to do mental mind games and flips to make what he said a reality, no matter what he says. This is not, I'm not making a political statement here. This is just a proven fact. Now, what does that have to do with this? He publicly stated that Bitcoin is something made up out of thin air, that it is not real, is not real money, that the US dollar is king and will be the #1 world currency forever. Do you believe, whether you're a Donald Trump supporter or not, that he will ever backtrack on that statement? Even if proven wrong. This is my only concern about this as a crypto supporter. Because since we know he doesn't backtrack, he only doubles down, his people that work for him will be forced to make it so. It's like I used to love watching Star Trek. Jean-Luc Picard was the captain. And he had his #1, William Riker. Will Riker. And whenever the captain said something, It was up to his number one to go ahead and execute the plan. And there were times when Will Riker, his number one, did not agree with the captain. But it was the captain's decision to make. And so Riker had to make it so. I always love that line whenever the captain would say something, he would say, "Make it so, number one." So even though the number one in command did not agree with the captain, he still had to go out there and convince the rest of the crew that what the captain wants to do is the direction we need to go in. That's how it's supposed to work for anybody working for any president. The president makes the decision. The people that work for him make it so. That's just my concern when it comes to Donald Trump. And when it comes to this crypto, he's made a decision publicly. He never backs down. He never apologizes. He doesn't change course because he never believes he's wrong. And when proven wrong about Bitcoin, his people are still going to go out there and institute policies and regulations and laws in place to make what Donald Trump wants a reality. That's my concern. Again, for you Donald Trump supporters, I am not blasting this as a political statement. I'm only making a factual statement on his behavior and how it's going to impact us in the crypto space. Now, putting that down, and it's a shame that I even have to do it that way, but when you speak politics and religion, people lose their freaking minds. You're not allowed to believe different than how they believe. And since I am a public kind of figure with influence, I've got to watch the things that I say, unfortunately. But I do support and respect all beliefs that are different from my own. It is your right to have them. I respect that. I'm not going to ban you or block you because you don't believe the way I believe. That's just silly. Now, I wanted to lay that foundation before I read it, because I have not read this article yet. This is from Forbes magazine. The U.S. Treasury Secretary works for Donald Trump. Let's see what direction that they're going to go in. They've got their marching orders from Donald Trump's tweet. Let's see what direction this is going to go in. Okay. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been catapulted back into the public consciousness over recent months, not only because of the soaring Bitcoin price, but due to its interest in Bitcoin from some of the world's biggest technology companies, including social media giant Facebook, which is planning to launch its own cryptocurrency next year. See, the Libra and Donald Trump talking about crypto has pushed the entire movement to the entire world. It has made it, what's the word I want to use? Mass awareness. The Bitcoin price and cryptocurrency markets remained unfazed when U.S. President Donald Trump unleashed a scathing attack on Bitcoin and crypto earlier this month, taking aim at Facebook's Libra project plans. But the year-to-date Bitcoin rally was halted in its tracks by global opposition to Libra. Now, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has warned that Bitcoin will not be widely used in 10 years' time. Really? While the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, is cracking down on cryptocurrency holders it thinks haven't paid their taxes. I got to tell you guys, pay your taxes. This year, it's killing me. When I did my taxes, I actually reported. Yes, I did. I actually reported my Bitcoin earnings from last year, and I didn't have to. I could have gotten away with not doing it for now, but I got to pay back so freaking much in taxes. It's killing me. But I want to be on record with the IRS that I have reported my Bitcoin and crypto stuff, and I actually pay taxes on it. Keep that audit machine away from me. So I have to, it's like, you know that old saying, it's the cost of doing business. I didn't have to. I could have saved myself a fortune in taxes if I didn't report it. But I definitely don't want for their technology to catch up 2-3 years from now, and they go back and say, hey, you've been in Bitcoin and you haven't paid taxes on this for the last 5 years. You owe, $2-3 million. Oh, heck no. I'd rather pay up now than worry about it in the future, because the one thing about the IRS, they always get their money. There is no escaping that unless you want to run off to Africa like, Blade did, Wesley Snipes. Anyways, now, let's see, paid their taxes. I can assure you I personally will not, I can assure you I will personally not be loaded up on Bitcoin in 10 years. Well, that's sell me your Bitcoin if you already have it. That's stupid on you. Mnuchin, who earlier this month branded Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies a national security issue, told NBC this week. Speaking at a press conference a couple of weeks ago, Mnuchin said he believed Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been exploited to support billions of dollars of illicit activity like cybercrime, tax evasion, extortion, ransomware, illicit drugs, and human trafficking, echoing comments made by Trump just days earlier. Stop right there. This is for the Donald Trump supporters that believe he can do no wrong. This is a statement Donald Trump made, and he's flat out false. Less than 0.5% of all crypto activity, less than 0.5% has to do with illegal activity. Guess what? 95% of all illegal activity around the world is being used with US dollars. That's a fact. Drug traffickers are not running around and crossing the border with nano ledger sticks in their hand, with Bitcoin wallet addresses. That's like putting a target on their back. Look at me. All my addresses are public. You know exactly where all my money is and how much I've got. That's the dumbest thing for an international criminal to do. I'm going to use Bitcoin. That's just stupid. So listen, I promise I am not being political here, just factual. What Donald Trump said is not factually true. And because he said it, now his Treasury Secretary is saying the same doggone thing and could put policies in place that impacts all of us and our nation. You guys understanding this? Where our real enemies out there, like Russia, Iran, Syria, North Korea, and then our competitors like China and India can now use this technology, since the U.S. ain't going to do it, lead the world in innovation while we're trying to shut it down. Now, these things are wrong. Cybercrime, tax evasion, human trafficking. Yes, they're wrong. It's just not Bitcoin that's the one that's making it happen. His latest comments suggest that the Trump administration could be gearing up to crack down on or even try to ban. If you ever wanted to see me say something real positive about Donald Trump, let him had come out and say, I am a big supporter of this Bitcoin and crypto. I've been saying the same thing about getting rid of the Federal Reserve and being back on the gold standard. Our current system is crap. I think we need to look into this cryptocurrency and how we as a nation can lead the world in the new digital economy with innovation and create more Silicon Valleys around our nation. Institute blockchain technology for our businesses and systems and way of government. Use it for our voting machines so that we won't have Russian interference, because our voting machines cannot even be hacked. We're going to put voting on the blockchain so it's 100% accurate. Oh, you'll see me singing Donald Trump's praises if he ever said something like that, which we know he won't. I'm just saying, keeping it real for a second, not political. I would bet, this is Stephen Mnuchin says, I would bet even in 5 to 6 years, I won't even be talking about Bitcoins as Treasury. You're not going to be Treasury Secretary in 5 to 6 years, number one. And number two, you want to take that bet? You're not going to be talking about Bitcoins in 5 to 6 years? Really? I'll take that bet with you. Bitcoin's been here for 10 years when nobody knew about it. Now the world, Pandora's box has been opened. There is nothing you can do. Bill Gates said in 2014, Bitcoin can't be stopped. There is absolutely nothing you can do, Steve Mnuchin. Bitcoin is freedom. Even the Supreme Court justice said there's going to be a day in America where everybody's going to get paid in cryptocurrency. You are on the wrong side of history here. Here's one thing, whenever I do blockchain, Bitcoin boot camps, and when I'm on stage, I'm able to look out and see everybody's face. And I got to tell you, the funniest look on everybody's face, and this is the reason why I like doing it, because it's funny as hell. The funniest thing is when I say, you know, I am so glad there was no social media in the 90s when I was in high school and college. I was a wild boy back then. I was doing things that I don't want there to be any digital tracking of or videos of. I was there for Freaknik. I was there for Daytona Beach. I was there for all that. I was doing things that there's no proof of. But today, social media records everything you do, from you posting what you had for dinner last night. You're posting all of your political beliefs. You're posting about events that's happening in America. This is the greatest history book that's being written live right now. So future generations is not up for interpretation. Like, I look back at the civil rights movement and I look at an image of a young black kid sitting at a diner just because he wants to eat. But you know what? It was segregation. It was a white-only diner. And there's about 15 white men around him pouring sodas on his face, throwing food at him, slapping him in the back of his head, calling him the N-word, get out, you're not wanted, you don't belong, you're not human, go back to where you came from. And guess what? That was just 10 years before I was born. Those people are still alive today. And guess what? You think they're saying, I'm not racist. I was just following the law back then. Why you got to bring race into everything? It was the law that he couldn't be sitting there. It wasn't because he was black. But there's no proof, only a picture. Those people are still alive. Everything that you say and you're doing right now, your grandkids will be able to identify you. The things that you say, the things that you do, how you treat people, your empathy or lack thereof, your nativism, racism, sexism is all on display for your children, your grandchildren. They will know exactly who you are and what you did and what you said. And Steve Mnuchin running his mouth, oh, it's not going to be no Bitcoin 5 years from now. And then 10 years from now, 30 years from now, you can be like, remember that fool Steve Mnuchin who said there wasn't going to be no Bitcoin? Remember Donald Trump, the president, said that Bitcoin is made out of thin air? Social media, the blockchain technology, there is nothing. They said, I saw this on the History Channel the other day. They were talking about the economy of the 21st century, and it was a brief because I was distracted. But they said something powerful, that this generation is the first generation in human history that 100 years from now, we actually have a complete, intact database of this generation's entire life, not just the victor writing history and rewriting it to fit their own narrative, like whitewashing down how slavery really was. You go to Texas right now. Have you looked at some of the Texas history books? How they have rewriting what slavery was about, or the atrocities that were committed. The children aren't learning it. They're growing up not knowing about it. It's going to be impossible in the future now. Anyways, yeah, I see some of you are dropping off if you don't like what I'm saying. So be it. I will always stand up to injustice, racism, lack of empathy, and not caring for our fellow human, not just Americans, but human beings. I will always stand up to that. Business be damned. Anyways, meanwhile, oh God, good grief. Thought I had this thing on silent. Everyone's blowing me up this morning. At least it was not Dr. Lewis. Normally he's the first, especially on a Monday morning. So meanwhile, the IRS has this week begun sending letters to some 10,000 U.S. citizens who own Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies that it thinks have failed to pay the appropriate taxes. All that is huge right there. I'm going to have to post that. I've been saying it since 2017. You got to pay your tax. Don't be slick thinking you can get over on this. They lost Coinbase lost their lawsuit back in 2017. Anybody that had transactions over, I think, what was it, $20,000, they got reported. They know your Bitcoin address, and they hired Chainalysis to track your movements. If they know your wallet, they're going to look at, okay, what other wallets was sent money from this wallet? And it's like connect the dots. Eventually, they're going to get found out. So they found out there's over 10,000 people that didn't pay the taxes. They're going to get a letter from the IRS. That's why I reported mine. It hurt me. And then they screwed the thing up on my taxes and put it down as capital gains tax, which is good on one hand, but hurt me on another since I'm self-employed. It made my taxes look like I didn't make any money last year. It was weird. Like, what are you talking about? But anyways, this is huge right here. The IRS is expanding their efforts involving virtual currency, including increased use of data analytics. IRS Commissioner Chuck Rettig said in a statement, "We are focused on enforcing the law and helping taxpayers fully understand and meet their obligations." The IRS reportedly got the names from U.S. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange. There you go, Coinbase. Coinbase should only be used, and I'm going to speak my opinion here, because Coinbase is the largest, exchange agency in America. Coinbase should be only used for a beginner that's trying to get into Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin for the very first time. If you are a large Bitcoin holder, or if you're doing a lot of transactions and trade, you should stay far away from Coinbase for a number of reasons. They operate shady sometimes, like when the market does something big, like jump $4,000 in a matter of 24 to 48 hours, or drop, all of a sudden Coinbase freezes and you can't withdraw, or you can't buy, or you can't trade or move anything around. And by the time they open back up, you just missed it. They've done that repeatedly, little things like that. And the IRS is all over them. I'm not saying in an attempt to hide. What I am saying is I don't like having Big Brother all over me. So the IRS reportedly got the names from U.S. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. all of whom have bought, sold, sent, or received digital currency worth $20,000 or more between 2013 and 2015. I wasn't even in crypto and that. Now here's the thing. Look at how far back they went. I didn't buy my first Bitcoin until 2016. So all these people back in 2013 and 2015 that thought they got away 7 years ago, 4 years, 5, 6 years ago, they're coming back on them 5 years back. Now this is where it's going to suck. And I know the IRS is going to do this. What was the price of Bitcoin back then? What was the price? What, $100, $200, $300 a coin? If you bought Bitcoin then and you sat on it and you still hold those Bitcoins today, you've increased in value tenfold from $200-$300 a coin to the price today is at $9,500 a coin. They will tax you on that. Not on what the price of it was that you bought it. How much did you make on its growth because you held it? You're going to get taxed on that. I read something about the Winklevoss twins. You know, because they put in $11 million. They paid taxes on that. They've been reporting their taxes from day one. So they're not going to get hit with all of a sudden you got up to $20,000 a coin. These people are about to be screwed. Don't think the IRS is going to say, oh, yeah, you got to pay taxes on coins that were at $100. No. They're going to look at it as of today's value and say, this is how much you owe. That's crazy because people are going to have sold coins even back in those days. These people are screwed. The latest moves by the Trump administration to crack down. See, this was my fear. And this is from Forbes magazine. Because of what Donald Trump said, all the agencies have to follow suit. They're going to crack down on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency sector, come after forensic accountancy firm BTVK warns the Bitcoin and crypto Wild West could be coming to an end, with global regulators closing in on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges as a result of the spotlight brought by Facebook's Libra project. Wow. Again, mention of Donald Trump only came up because the article mentions Donald Trump. He's entering our space of crypto, and it's going to impact all of us. This was not political. Whether you're for or against them is irrelevant. This is reality. This is what's happening. These are consequences of decisions and choices that have been made, and we have to react to that. You don't like it? Write your congressman, write your president, lobby against it. There are things you can do. But this is reality. I've been saying this since 2017. Pay your taxes. You'll be fine. You're going to make far more money than you're going to lose by having to pay the taxes, even though it sucks. It sucks. I'm doing it right now. It sucks. But I had to do it because I need to still operate within the system. And I don't want to go to jail over some nonsense. Pay your taxes. Follow the code. Play by the rules on this. Until the day comes where we have a administration and a government that realizes there's no stopping this, stop trying to get in its way and help to innovate it. I mean, follow freaking Vladimir Putin's lead. Never thought I'd say that. Follow his lead. He figured out in 2016. And he said technology or the Stone Age did not end due to the lack of stones, The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. And if our president is making a public statement saying that the US dollar is the strongest currency in the world and always will be, and if you actually believe that, I'll pray for you. We've been covering the history of money. Well, I tried to over the last couple of weeks until Facebook shut me down last week. I still have this article to cover. Maybe I'll do it tonight if I can get on Facebook. Money and democracy. Why you never get to vote on the most important part of society. You got to know the history of money. The currency that we're using right now is less than 100 years old. It hasn't been here forever. United States dominance of the US dollar is 70 years old. It's not going to remain forever. The rest of the world is catching up. And they're saying, screw America. We're not going to use the US dollar. We're going to come up and use our own currency. And then when they call on our debt, $21 trillion in debt, the world's not using the US dollar. We're just printing money out of thin air because we can, fiat money. We are in for something that's going to make the Great Depression look like child's play. I don't say that lightly. Now, there is something you can personally do. And it's what Jim Rohn says. Build a financial wall around your house so high that nothing can penetrate it. You don't need to worry about the government's going to do or what the president's going to do, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. They're not going to save you. They do not have your best interest at heart. I'm going to say this one more time. The Democrats and the Republicans, it doesn't matter who the president is. They do not have your best interest at heart. You have to look after you. And if you put yourself in a situation where you have the financial resources where it doesn't matter what they do, then you're good to go. And this industry of cryptocurrency is giving everybody an opportunity to make it so. This is the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people, because all you need is a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn. That's all you need. That's why we're launching our education company, to help teach you that, for those that are willing to learn. You heard the news from Troy Dooley last week. The goal is to flip that switch Friday of this week, August 2nd. My son's birthday. My son turns 12 years old. Can't believe that. Remember, bringing him home from the hospital just yesterday. Now he's 12. Good grief. So I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. I will be back tonight because I still wanted to cover this. If Facebook does not allow me to do the Facebook Live, then I'll do the live on YouTube. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific tonight. Either Facebook or YouTube. It will still be posted on my Facebook page. Money and democracy. Why you never get to vote on the most important part of society. I've been trying to cover this for 2 weeks now. And you know what? Depending on how long that is, I might cover this one that came after it. The IRS. IRS agents propose draconian tactics to investigate Bitcoin users. Draconian tactics. Yeah, I'm going to cover these two tonight. See you then. God bless. Have a great day. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.